everyone, and welcome back to episode 15 of my F1 2016 Force India career mode. If you guys are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you did enjoy, as it really does help me out. But anyway guys, today we are at the Singapore Grand Prix, historically a track that is pretty much as bad for me as Monaco really. But the engineer's just here telling me about the fact we can spend our R&D points. And talking of R&D points, we do need to decide very, very soon if we do want to cease the R&D for the season. Obviously, not sure when about we're going to do that, because for those of you that obviously watch a lot of other F1 YouTubers, you'll know that once you cease the R&D, there we go, there's the option to cease R&D, just at the bottom there. Once you cease the R&D, you can actually earn 25% more for upgrades than you would do without ceasing the R&D. And I will just let you guys know now, we are actually going to end up ceasing the R&D, as you can see there. Just basically want to save up and work for Season 2, because we're not in the championship hunt at this on this season. Obviously, we're just trying to get good results in for the team. We're not in a hunt for the championship or anything. So if we bother continuing developing this season's car, it seems very, very pointless. Not pointless, but it seems obviously with the 25% bonus we can have next season, it would seem very, very silly not to cease the R&D, as obviously we're not in a championship fight. Although we're in sort of a fight with Red Bull at this stage of the season, the way their car's been upgrading recently and how rapidly they've been doing so, I think even if we weren't to cease the R&D, we wouldn't be able to stay ahead of them in the standings as well. As you can see there, that was our track acclimatization lap. We did fairly well on that one. I think we got one red, but then a couple of mediocre results as well. But now we're on to our qualifying practice run. As you can see, we are currently on our second lap, as the first lap didn't really go to plan for us there. It was a bit of a shame that it didn't go too well for us there. Obviously, Singapore, just a track we just aren't very good at. It's a street circuit, which, apart from Valencia, I'm not very good at. And again, it's a high-speed circuit, which I'm just going to make mistakes. As you can see there, I ran wide slightly, hit the wall, and lost part of the front wing. But anyway, now moving on into qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously, just going through the final couple of sectors here. This was our first flying lap of the day. It was a fairly good lap, I thought. But as we'll see when we come through the final timing sheets, where it does post us there, as you can see, it puts us in P4 behind Danny Kvyat there. So it obviously isn't a very, very strong result there. So we're going to go out for our second attempt here. This is actually the autopilot before you guys start wondering how on earth my driving was so smooth there. But that is the end of autopilot. Moving on to our last ditch attempt. We're steering too early and ripped the front wheel, off the car there. Going into the tunnel. Obviously not too uncommon to see accidents happening at the tunnel, but to steering too early is a very, very surprising moment. We're just going to have a look what happened here to see. As we can see, just as we slow it down here a bit, as you can see, we just turn in just that little bit too early here. I thought originally that the optimization of the track wasn't on point, but then it just turned out the fact we did just turn a little bit too early there. A very easy mistake to make there. Bit of a shame that we did do it, as how solid we have been so far this season. Haven't made too many big major mistakes or anything so far. But that is us out of the Singapore qualifying session, which means obviously that our first lap would be our only one that counts towards where we were starting on the grid there. So pretty much guaranteed the fact we won't be anywhere in a very good performance. A very good position there. As we can see, if we have a look now at the qualifying results here, when it finally loads, there's just a picture of Singapore. There's the car just parked beautifully there at the side of the track. And as we can see, Felipe Massa actually went quickest there, 6/10 clear of anyone else. As we're down in P16, our teammate there, I think, is in about P10 or P9. I couldn't exactly see that when I flicked through. But yeah, so Felipe Massa there, very, very surprised with the fact he was so quick there. 6/10 quicker than the next car, which was Max Verstappen. But we have 3 teams in the top 3. But anyway, now moving on into the Singapore Grand Prix race here. This is the only part of the weekend that really matters. We can forget about every other issue we've had so far this weekend. Whether that be we're just generally slow, we're just generally terrible at this track, and anything else. But obviously this track is quite interesting, the fact that obviously with the day-night cycle editor, it was quite funny, you know, just to be able to see, not funny, but quite interesting to see Singapore in the daylight, because I've actually been to Singapore, like I've seen Singapore in real life. But again, it was only at night, so it was quite interesting to see what it looks, obviously not a massive amount of detail, but it was quite good to see obviously what it looks like in real life, what it looks like in the flesh as well. Obviously, Codemasters, the graphics on this game are incredible, there's no denying that. But there is Felipe Massa on pole position, 6/10 clear of Max Verstappen. Nico Rosberg and Kimi Raikkonen make the second row, Hamilton and Ricciardo the third row, Bottas and Vettel the fourth, with Romain Grosjean, Sergio Perez rounding out the top 10 there. So very, very good performance for my teammate there. Good to see for him that he's probably psychologically for him, the fact he's beat me in a qualifying session for the first time in quite a while, in all honesty. It seems to be that we've done very, very well in qualifying. And then our races are very, very up and down. Obviously, we had that 1-2 last time out. If you guys haven't checked that video out, I would highly recommend doing so. That was an absolutely incredible race for the team. And let's now move in to the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously, just changing around the strategy a little bit. Trying to remember how many laps this race is. I was like, just can't remember for the life of me. It's just not something I put to memory. Unlike a lot of tracks and things. But moving into the race now, we're going to skip the formation lap, just to edit that out. 5 lights, and away we go. And we get an absolutely incredible start there. Magnussen and Kvyat just not bothering to go. And Alonso not doing much better there. As we just get an absolutely beautiful run into turn 1. Already up the inside of Button and our teammate there. And up the inside of Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. He's not had a very, very good start here today. As you can see, he's already down into P10 at this stage. But hopefully we will be able to demote him to P11 there. It'd be very, very surprising to see Ferrari at points. But he outbreaks us into turn 3. But on the undercut, on the way out, we do manage to get past him there, up into P10 of the Grand Prix. So Vettel on his set of super soft tyres there, really not in a very strong position at the start of this Grand Prix. But meanwhile, just ahead of us, Sainz and Ricciardo are the next 2 cars. And Sainz is trying to overtake Ricciardo around the outside, obviously the works car. Trying to overtake, obviously, the Ferrari power unit versus the Renault power unit there. So all very a bit interesting there. But as we can see, coming through the next corner there, Sainz just gets incredibly slow exit out of the corner there. So we do crash into the back of him slightly there. But now moving on through the Singapore, what used to be the Singapore Sting, this part of the track obviously has been revised slightly. We get an absolutely beautiful run around the outside of Sainz there. He then crashes into Vettel there, so obviously that gives us a little bit of breathing space behind. And we are up into P9 of the Singapore Grand Prix here. As we can see now, moving on to lap 3 here, coming out the same corner there. Romain Grosjean there is in a very, very surprising 7th place there. It was very, very positive to see that the Haas car was really up against the top guys here. As it seems to be the fact that it would be forcing, myself, Williams, Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes would just absolutely run away with every single race. So far, the top 9 was pretty much consistent. But now we move on to lap 4 here. As you can see, we are right behind Daniel Ricciardo here. Are we going to be able to make a move on him in the next couple of corners? Hopefully we'll be able to do so. Grosjean really, I'm not sure he's losing any time to the guys ahead of him there. He's just having a really, really good performance out so far. And coming through turn 4 now, we just skim the wall and the front tyre's just been ripped off. And no idea what's happened there. If we're going to have to look at that on the replay there. Because that just seemed to be truly bizarre. The wheel just gave up being part of the car there. So as we can see, we're now just going to slow it down through the corner. What has actually gone on here? So we start straightening out the throttle. Obviously, we do just skin the wall. And the tyre just rips off. I'm not sure whether that was the fact it got caught between the curb and the wall there or anything. Or whether that's just like an insta-kill wall, if you will. But that is us out of the Singapore Grand Prix. A huge disappointment for ourselves there. After a couple of very good... Well, obviously, Monza last round was a very, very good performance there for us. And that is a huge, huge shame for Force India. Obviously, looking to maintain the momentum from last time out. But we haven't been able to do so there. That was a huge, huge shame. Christian Horner is very, very happy there. But anyway, guys, hopefully if you have enjoyed this bit of a disappointment of a race that I won't lie, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Max Verstappen is your race winner of the day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.